Welcome to Smash Exams. In this video, we're going to be looking at the IELTS speaking test part 1 on the subject of books. We're going to be looking at some common questions that may come up in this part of the IELTS speaking test. We're also going to be looking at some really good sample answers that you could use. And then at the end of the video, stick around for it, we're going to go through some key IELTS speaking test part 1 vocabulary based on the books. First up is the common questions. Do you often read books? What is your favourite type of book to read? What books did you like to read as a child? Do you prefer ebooks or physical books? Let's have a look straight away at some sample answers for these questions. Do you often read books? Yes, I'm a bit of a bookworm, so I like to read all the time, especially when I'm travelling or at break time at school. Not really, I've never really been much of a book person. I read magazines or the news on my phones, but I don't generally read books. What is your favourite type of book to read? I prefer non-fiction, particularly the popular science books. I like to read about the world and I like to understand what's going on in a deep way. Fiction books are my favourite. It's a form of escapism for me. Whenever I'm feeling sad, I like to go and get lost in another person's imagination. What books did you like to read as a child? I liked fantasy books when I was younger. I used to let my imagination run wild and go on adventures with the protagonist. Sometimes I even pictured myself as the protagonist. My mother used to read me my books when I was a child. She was great. She used to do all the voices and the actions. It was really nice. And then when I got a bit older, I started reading those same books that she used to read me. Do you prefer physical books or electronic books? It depends. When I'm at home, I like to go into my little reading nook and read a real physical book. But when I am traveling or I'm commuting to work, I prefer my ebook as it's so much lighter and easier to carry. 100% physical books. There's just something about having something in your hand. I just like to flick through the pages and turn the pages by hand, and even the smell. Yeah, 100% physical books. Now let's have a look at some of that key vocabulary that I used in my sample answers. Number 1. Bookworm. A bookworm is just somebody who really likes to read books. Some synonyms for bookworm are bibliophile or book lover. I like this word because you can also use it in a sentence or in an answer for other IELTS speaking test part 1 categories, such as one about evenings. The examiner might say, do you like to go out in the evenings? And you can say, actually, no, I prefer to stay in and read books. I'm a real bookworm. Or he could ask you, do you like to play sports? Yeah, I like sports and I play them occasionally, but I'm much more of a bookworm. I prefer to spend my time in the library. If you're enjoying this video, don't forget to hit the like button. The second word I used is escapism. And escapism just means when you use your imagination to try and get away from maybe a bad place. Some close synonyms of escapism are daydream and fantasy. It's another great word to use in the IELTS speaking test part 1 because it can be used for anything that you use to escape from real life. For example, if somebody asks you, what is your favourite type of movie? You could say, I like action movies. It's a really good form of escapism to get away from my miserable life. Well, maybe not miserable life, but you know what I mean. Or something like, do you like to play sports? Yes, sports is my form of escapism. I like to forget everything that's going on in my daily life and focus on winning the game on the pitch. Escapism is a really good word. You can use it pretty much any of the IELTS speaking task part 1 questions. You can say, my hobby is making YouTube videos. It's a great form of escapism because I don't have to do any real work. I can just sit at home and make videos. The third piece of vocabulary I used in this video that I want to teach you is the word nook. And it basically means just like a little corner of a place, like a nice cozy corner usually. And it's often used in a collocation with a reading nook. So it's a place where you can go and read your book in a part of your house or in a part of a building. So, a reading nook. You can also use to talk about it if you have to describe your home, which is a really very common IELTS speaking test part 1 group of questions. So if you get asked something like, what's your favourite room in your house? My favourite part of the house is my reading nook. It has beanbags in there and soft lighting, and I like to go in and spend time with my books where I can be undisturbed by the other members of my family. Thanks for watching to the end. Don't forget to subscribe and maybe check out this video. It's a really good one. It's also about the IELTS speaking test part 1 and it will help with your vocabulary. Good luck and smash those exams.